Okay, welcome everyone. This is Laura and I, the happiness coach, and we're going to be doing a talk today on empathy and being an earth angel. I mention it a lot in my sessions, and Laura has just recently read a book by Doreen Virtue, and it's a really great book. I haven't read it yet, but we thought we'd explore that subject today for you guys, and some other things. So why don't we just go ahead and get started? What did you find when you were reading about the subject?
To me, I finally felt like I could categorize myself in a way, because I'd never heard anyone talk about all the things that I'd been through and how I feel, and it was all in a book. So for me, it was really comforting, because I'd been told before by people, you're an angelic, but I didn't really know what that meant. And I knew what my personal struggles were, but I thought that that was just stuff that everyone has their own personal struggles, right? But then when I read that book, I was like, oh, okay, now it makes some sense. So like, people who resonate with this, and you probably will as well. Well, one of the things that I struggle with the most is being assertive. The book is actually called Assertiveness for Earth Angels, and so it's about we as an Earth Angel and as an empath, we can feel everyone else's energy and everyone else's emotion. So we never like to get into conflict, because we can feel that that person is hurting. So we don't like to hurt anyone else, or even, but it becomes to the point where there's times where we need to speak up and say something, and we don't, because we don't want to upset anyone or hurt the other person's feelings. So that book really helped me to learn, okay, how do I say what I need to say, but be nice, and bring it across the right way? Because for me, in Aries, I'd be like, I won't say anything, and then I just lose it, and then it would come out wrong. So it's like learning to be confident enough to speak up and not let the empathy thing stop me from doing that, because we can feel everything.
Yeah. Okay, so my definition of an earth angel so far has been, number one, I can sense it, but number two would be, one thing I find that seems real common with them is that they have been through kind of hell and back. A lot of them have been through a tremendous amount of trauma or tragedy or really hard stuff to overcome, because it's supposed to get them more compassionate. It's supposed to develop their compassion. It's not supposed to, in the process though, because I am one and I've been through it myself, in the process, question, why am I here? Why am I being put through this? Does God hate me? So you got to go through like the depths of hell, I think, as an earth angel, and rise above it. And then you get to the point where you've kind of like you've gotten to the new dawn. When the new dawn is there, you become the teacher. And then everything is so much better. And because you look at things different, your perspective has changed, you mature, and then you're able to help others. So I want to just make sure that we ask, what is an earth angel? Like, how is it defined in the book? And then I definitely want to explore that topic of the assertiveness. That's a huge issue.
Yeah.
We have very long to overcome that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, in the book, because they talk about light workers in general, so you get different types of light workers. But an earth angel, the way it was described, is literally that. It's an angel that's come to Earth to help lift the vibration of the planet. So what she was saying in the book is that, it was like, and I've read this in loads of books, right? Like this call out of the Earth needs help, right? The Earth needs help. It's going downhill. If you read Dolores Cannon, she'll say the same thing, and she'll say the Earth is going to destruct itself, because everyone is the energy is so off, and so these Earth angels like us have come here as a volunteer to help to uplift and ascend the planet. So,
well, that's a bigger perspective.
I know, but I loved what she said in the book. She said, people don't listen to their own spirit guides. People don't listen to their angels. So you have to be in a body so that people will listen to you, because otherwise the message doesn't get through. That's why we came here, to be in physical form.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. And the Earth needs our help, big time.
Yeah. So that's
just watch the news. Just watch the news anytime.
Yeah.
It's like one of the biggest epiphanies I think that I've had is that no matter what circumstance you find yourself in, or no matter who you're talking to, or how nasty they are to you, or what, it's the way that you look at things, the way that you think of things, that either makes you suffer or not. And even with the boundaries issue, um, you can say things. You can say things to people in such a way that you can be completely firm in your own boundary, yet be kind and compassionate toward the other person. But you can do it in such a way, like mastery is knowing like how to get it to be a good thing for everybody. You know, to appeal to them as well, to be able to say, I'm not going to do that for you, but here are some resources.
Yeah.
Or we deal with that a lot in our business, actually, don't we?
A lot. And I think it's probably a good lesson for us to learn, a good way for us to learn this, because when I first started out, and I still get it now, I get emails every day. Some of them are like this, right? People's life stories, help me, help me, help me. There has to be an equal energy exchange. This is something that I've learned, right? And unless I'm being divinely guided to do something otherwise, there has to always be equal energy exchanges. If I was to take an hour to read some of those and reply with an appropriate response, that would take a lot of energy for me. And of course I want to help everyone, but I don't get anything back from that. It drains me. So I've had to learn to be assertive and say, look, I really appreciate that you need help. I offer all these services at loads of different prices, so it helps everyone. I hope that that's where you can find help, because I really struggled with that. I used to reply to every single email that I would get, and after a while I was like, I can't do this anymore, because then I had nothing to give to those who were paying and were, working with me. So in the work that we do, we get a lot of people that need help, right? That's why we're here. But we have to, being an empath and being an earth angel, we have to learn our boundaries. We have to learn when to say, we learn that on the twin flame journey, right? When to say, no, I'm not doing this anymore. We learn it through that, and then we see it everywhere else in our life, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I actually got that this morning, and you did a reading for me a couple weeks ago, but things have changed and they've shifted. I really need your help. And I thought, okay. So I just said, I said, I do a podcast for free every Sunday. If you need something free, it can wait until Sunday. Or, I have a quick relationship spread for $22, So it's like there needs to be that exchange, because it's like we could do that all day long. Never get back to ourselves, and we'd be just totally, completely depleted. So I found even in my friendships that it's important that you align with people who also give back to you. Mm-hmm. Even with family, if you just take from you and they don't give anything back of value, then it's time to question that too. Family members really take advantage. I don't know if you've noticed this, but it's like they're like, but I'm family, but you must for me. Or, you're supposed to listen to your sister. You're supposed to listen to your mother. We're here, it's like blood's thicker than water or whatever, but I don't believe that. I believe that everybody is equal. And it's who you are or what kind of status you have or anything at all. It's about an equal exchange. How do you treat me? How do I treat you? Is that fair? Is that equal? Is it supportive? Mm-hmm. And if it's not, then you have to have that discussion. Either ask for what you want or say, this isn't working for me on my end, so I got to do something else, Yeah. So, and that's part of our loving ourselves, right? Yeah. Saying, my time is valuable, and it's saying that I want to reserve my energy or preserve my energy, and I want to be able to truly listen and give to people. And if I'm just running around pleasing everybody, trying to put out all these fires and help everybody else, then I don't have any energy left for me, and I'm just kind of burned out all the time. And then I'm distracted, when I talk to people and they're like, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, yeah, or, so it's like, don't let yourself get to that point by having healthy boundaries, by saying, I'm going to even like, for us, it's like like for me, I don't do a complete hour. I do 45 minutes and then I get 15 minutes in between.
Yeah.
And I make sure that I end it at that 45-minute mark as close as I can, it's so that I can go to the restroom, I can wash my hands, I can cleanse my energy, I can go take a little nap and lay on the bed for just a second, pop back up, feel refreshed, take a bath at the end of the day. I stop at a certain time. And when I do, I really stop. I make sure that I really like take care of myself too. And I think as empaths, one of the problems too is that you take on everybody else's stuff.
Yeah.
I've got like a method that I do where I can fuel myself up. I think, in Qigong, they call it like your life force energy. But all of us have that God source energy that can be pouring through us, instead of us like having a wellspring of this energy pouring through us that doesn't allow us to become depleted, for one. But for two, if you do get depleted, because there are days when it's harder than others, do you have a system of being able to cleanse your energy field real quick and get anybody else off of you? And, or as twin flames, we often pick up on our partner's energy. And so how do you differentiate who you're picking up on, and who is it, them or is it you?
Yeah.
So, like for me, I have like a way of asking just about anything that's like, I put yes over here or no over here, whatever it is. Or I'll just put his name here, my name here, or, whatever it is. So I'll just go, I feel really wonky right now. And there's really no reason for me to feel this way. So I'll just say, is this him or me? And I'll see him pop up and I'll go, oh, okay. And so then I can process that. I'm him and I do this. And I'll say, okay, if I'm him and I'm suffering, because it's given to you for a reason, and yes, you can get rid of it, but why not help him process it? So I'll feel the feeling and I'll say, okay, let's say that I am depressed. Let me put this on, and then I'll just say, how would I turn this around if this was my feeling? Well, I would write down my exercise. Like, I use like, thank you God for my misery. I would say, thank you God that I just feel like things aren't out for me in my life or something. And then down all the benefits and advantages as to why that's a really great thing. So, and I would do that over and over with as many thoughts as I could think of. And I'd put the thoughts the worst way possible, because you're supposed to feel sorry for yourself so that you can turn it around. Anyway, so what do you do? Like, how do you feel that whole thing out when you feel someone else's energy and all that? How do you sort that out and clean it out?
Kind of similar to what you said. I think until I only realized that I absorbed people's energy probably about a year ago. So there was a really long period of my life where I was always like, why am I depressed sometimes? And then fine the next day. Or how come I get so tired so suddenly? And I didn't understand. I always thought there was something wrong with me. So when I realized that was like a blessing. I was like, oh my God, this isn't even my stuff. So that was amazing. But I kind of do what you do. Is like, I ask myself, first of all, is this my twin? And I'll usually feel yes. And I used to help him process it, but now I don't, because I've noticed that if I did that, I would then get even more depleted and it would take me longer to fill myself back up. So sometimes I'll do what you do and I'll think, okay, how could I help him at this time? And I'll do what I feel guided to. Other times I just say, can you just remove this? Because it depends. If I've got like 5 clients, I'm thinking, I need to go because I have people that I need to work with, so I had to clear it. But if I've got nothing to do, I will try and understand the emotion and the thought. And it is given to me for a reason, and it's nice. I sometimes, even though I don't speak to him, it's sort of like, okay, that's what he's up to, that's how he's feeling, okay. And it's not normally positive, okay, because he's going through quite a lot. So I kind of asked Archangel Michael to clear it, and I just imagine him cutting all the cords and just removing everything. I just ask for protection, and then I ask for a shield around me so that it can't come back. So I do notice though that the higher my energy is, the higher my vibration is, the less likely I am to feel the him, you know, because like I haven't felt him for ages because I've been on this high after the moon. I've been feeling so good. And I've got so many amazing changes in my life. I'm so happy and so excited. I haven't even felt it. But then if you have a moment where you dip down a little bit, they kind of catch you. And then oh my god. So yeah, I do notice that if I'm on a higher energy, people don't, I don't know about you, but I don't absorb people's energy as much if I'm super high vibrational and I take care of myself. I don't normally book in clients till like 12, so that I have the whole morning to just be me, and just if I want to go to the gym, if I want to stay in bed, if I want to have a bath, if I want to read, whatever, because it's so important for us to have that time for ourselves to recharge. And then I do my clients, and then as soon as I'm done, it's right, dinner, bath, pajamas, whatever I want to do, go out. So yeah, I think if we don't have that time for ourselves, we end up completely depleting ourselves. Like when I first started doing my tarot readings, I would get up at like 4 or 5 and start work, and I'd work all throughout the day until I literally couldn't move, and then I go to sleep and wake up and do it all over again. And I slowly started to realize that this doesn't work. And of course I was doing like 10 readings a day, which is for me too many. So now, but this was when I first began, and so it's all those people's energy, and it's like it was twin flames, so that's like 20 people's energy that you're tapping into all day that's on you, and you're doing that 7 days a week. I was just like, I didn't understand what was wrong with me. But yeah, as an empath and as an earth angel, you're like a sponge. I always think of SpongeBob, like because as soon as you're next to someone, it absorbs. And so that's why you have to be really careful who you're friends with and who you spend time with. And even if you love your friends, there's going to be times where you need to just sit back. Like the last couple of days, I haven't really been on my phone. I've just been like sitting back, especially after the moon. I was tired. I didn't really text anyone, didn't ring anyone. I just didn't leave the house. Just needed, it's so important that we listen to ourselves. Like I know when it's not a day for the gym, and it's not a day to leave the house, and it's not a day to take off the pajamas. They have to stay on, and I have to. And I know when it's a day like that, and I always welcome it now. But
that was yesterday for me too.
Right? We need that.
That's why we didn't hear from each other yesterday.
Yeah, because we were both depleted. I was like, I just need
hanging out in our PJs.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Yeah. And I always understand, like if ever I'm not very codependent. So if I don't hear from you for 2 days, I just think she needs time. And if you don't hear from me, she's taking time. If I don't hear from any of my friends who are like us, I'm like, oh, she's having her angel time, right?
Yeah.
So I respect it. We have to respect, if we know someone that's an empath, or if you're dating someone that's an empath, you have to be respectful, because it's very difficult to understand what it feels like unless it's you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To understand what it, like I remember at Christmas time, I went into a coffee shop with my mum, and everyone's energy was, because it was like Christmas Eve, so everyone was panic buying, and there was someone in there that was really unhappy and didn't want to be here anymore, and I could feel that energy. And I said to my mum, I was like, I'm struggling to pull myself up because it was so heavy. I had no chance. And she said to me, well, just do what I do, just close it off. And I thought, I would love to be able to do that, to just close it off. And I totally understand that people can do that. They can just say, it's not my problem. But when you're an empath, you have no choice. It's kind of like the tide gets underneath your feet and you get pulled in. And it's before you do it, and suddenly you're like, oh my God, I'm underneath the water and I can't find my way up. So yeah, we have to have empathy for those who are empathetic, who have these abilities, because they're great. When I do readings and stuff with people, I'll say, well, you're feeling like this and you're feeling like that and this is going on. They're like, yeah. Or they don't realize they've got it, and then they go, yeah, that makes sense. So I love my gift, but I have to take care of myself in order to use it for its best, in the best way.
If I'm out in the public like that, if I have a lot of commotion going around me, the book A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle can help me be the space for that. So I really will try to be almost like a peace bomb in the environment.
Yeah.
So that my peace is influencing outward, not the other way around. Yeah. So I try to get so in the moment that it's kind of like you could almost feel the energy kind of coming down a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I need to do more.
it
I
takes,
get too caught up sometimes, you know?
and it takes, that's all part of the journey of the earth angel. You know, how do we do that? And,
Yeah.
and it's funny, people pleasing, I think, is one of the biggest issues, and that's around the boundary thing too. And people pleasing, I think, is like it, for one, causes cancer,
Mhm.
and along with sugar. And it's like people, it kind of goes along with each other, doesn't it? It's like sickening sweet. It's like
Yeah.
sweet, your body gets polluted because it's like your body kind of gets the message that I don't really matter, everybody else does.
Yeah.
So, like I have, you know, like we were talking about our schedule or whatnot, but like I have clients who have like parents who are really needy and they're so manipulative. If you don't pick up the phone, something really bad could have happened to me, you know?
Oh,
And
yeah.
I just like help them to feel like, you know, if something were to happen to your parent during the 2 hours that you decided to watch a movie and turn your phone on airplane mode, it was supposed to be without you there. Somehow you need to come to terms with that. It's like whatever the issue is that you're so afraid of that you can't put your phone on airplane mode, tackle that issue. Yourself peace as to the worst case scenario, and don't put that responsibility on yourself, whatever that is. Like if you can't go to sleep and just have your phone, like I sleep with airplane mode on, I check my phone throughout the night periodically, and it's been really crazy because I've even picked up my phone or woken up at a time that I needed to help somebody, and then I've gone right back to sleep. But that's without my phone ringing. So it's like you start to like work more with life when you're not fearing, when you're not trying to control out of fear, but you're just more
Mm.
like, I know that the message will get across to me if it needs to. Whatever it is, if it's important enough, it'll happen. You know, and if it doesn't happen, then it wasn't supposed to happen that way. They were supposed to be alone without my help. They were supposed to handle it the way that they did. It all works out just the way that it's supposed to. And it's like, who do we think we are? Who do we think we are? And how arrogant can we be that we feel that we have to be the one who tends to these people 24/7 every minute of every day? And if it's not us, God forbid it won't work out. You know what I mean? I mean, when you
Yeah.
think about it that way, come on.
Yeah. I think that's such a big lesson. And that is a family thing, isn't it? Like, I mean, I didn't have parents that would say that to me, but, you know, I feel a responsibility to everyone in my life to take care of everyone. And there were times where I was doing that. I was taking care of everyone else before myself, especially my twin flame. I'd always put his needs before mine, always. And it does get to the point after 3 years of doing that, you think, oh, you just can't. It doesn't get you anywhere. But I used to do it with my family as well. I just felt like it's such a big responsibility for everyone. And I think we do because we're here to help everyone. So if we can't help someone, it's really frustrating, and then we want to keep going, right? Because I don't know about you, I'm assuming this is part of the gift, but I don't know. I can see everyone's full potential. When I look at someone, I see their higher self rather than their 3D self. So we meet someone who someone will go, well, they're horrible, they're this and they're this, and don't get involved with them. But when you speak to them, you're like, what are you talking about? They're okay. Because although you can be like, oh, sometimes I think, oh no, your energy's off, I don't like you. But I will see those people I stay away from, but I can still see their higher self, and I can still see exactly why they are the way they are and why they're hurting and everything. But a lot of the time we just see this person's higher self. And I think that's why people like being around us, because when they're around us, they see that version of themselves as well, because we hold them accountable, we hold them in the light, so that when they're with us, they're like, oh, I am amazing, because we show them. I remember learning that from Abraham. Like I think someone asked them, how can I help my friend? You know, how can I help this person, or how can I help my mum? And Abraham said, you can't do anything other than be in alignment, because when you're in alignment and you're with them, that will become contagious, and they will see the best version of themselves through you. And I think that's what we naturally do as earth angels. When people are around us, they naturally feel safe and happy, and they feel like they are someone because we show them that they're someone, just by listening to them and being around them. So it's very normal for us to have people like family and people that we meet to not necessarily manipulate us all the time, but try and find a way. They always want our help. Mm-hmm. We become responsible for everyone in the end. So we have to cut that off and say, hang on a minute, this isn't my responsibility, this is yours. That's a lesson I've learned. I'm quite good at that one now. I think, no, this is not my issue and I'm not getting involved. This is your issue. I'm not doing it. If it doesn't feel good to my energy and my higher self, then I will easily say, no, this is not my problem. This is not for me. But that's taken like 29 years together. So I think the thing I struggle with the most still is guilt. That is my biggest enemy, guilt. Feeling guilty all the time for thinking, because I don't know, maybe we feel like we have such a massive responsibility that, like, let's say for example, if you were to ring me because you needed me and I couldn't answer, and you'd be like, it's fine, don't worry, I'm fine now, I would feel guilty for about a week that I couldn't answer the phone. Even if you were like, I'm fine. It doesn't matter, I'm fine now. I would feel guilty for about a week. I'd have to like really meditate and let it go, because we feel like there's such a huge responsibility for everyone and everything. So guilt is the thing that I'm working on the most. I carry it in my throat and I carry it in my jaw. Yeah.
So what if when you didn't get to my call and what I did for myself ended up being mind-blowing and incredibly transformative for me and was so beneficial, and instead of being like, oh, you weren't there for me, but I took care of it, I'm okay. What if I were to be like, thank you so much for not answering me? That was crucial.
Yeah. So
critical for me to go inward and to change and to transform. So thank you. I can't thank you enough. You know, what's the difference between that? It's just what we're telling ourselves. Because
absolutely.
Any negative feelings, I don't care what it is, whether it's guilt or shame or whatever, it essentially, it really leaves us powerless, and it makes us influenceable to manipulation. And it also makes us do things like, when we're acting out of guilt or shame, it's not going to be within the same integrity as whether, if you're clear and you're like, good, they got that. Because I've had those things happen too, or I've had I've had things happen while I'm asleep. But when I wake up and I see that, I think, okay, good, God intervened.
Yeah.
It was taken care of. So in that way, it's like I wake up and I'm clear. I'm not having a cloud with me. I'm getting up and I'm like, good, everything happened just as it should. And then I proceed throughout the day and I'm thinking real clear. Mm-hmm. If I were to carry that cloud with me, oh, I wasn't there for that person, then the next time my phone rings, hello, or the next, hey, I really need something. Of course, yes, I'll be there, because the guilt is driving me to like overachieve, over be there. Yeah. Whereas if it's like when you really trust that everything works out exactly as it should, and we don't stay in that negative feeling, whatever it is, then we're also not. It's like I also tell people, like, if they have like, if you're going to become a celebrity, and I talk to people who are like actresses, singers, and they, they'll get both. They'll get a lot of criticism or they'll get a lot of compliments. And I tell them, do not take a compliment and do not take a criticism. Don't take either, because either will influence you, either will persuade you. Just know who you are and know that things are exactly as they should be. And if somebody is complimenting you, they, number one, could be trying to sway you to their opinion or what they want you to do, or, they will use that as a tactic. I'm not saying that they are necessarily bad people. It's just that's how they're programmed, and that's automatic in the way that they survive. So they just automatically do it. It's not that they're bad people necessarily, but it's like if we're aware enough to be just in our own space, then it's like when they do that, we can just go, oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, we don't absorb that.
Yeah, because otherwise, yeah, you might go, oh, well, thank you. Well, what can I do for you? Or the other one's over here going, oh, well, you're too this or you're too that. Then you're like, oh, yeah, maybe I am. And then the next person who asks you to do something that you don't feel comfortable doing, you might be, well, maybe I am because maybe I'm too this or too that because that other person told me that. It's like, no, the truth is, whoever paid you that compliment, they need to take a look at that compliment for themselves and see that in themselves, for one, so you can give them the same compliment back, something similar, and let it be what it is. And then this person over here, them feeling like you're to this or to that is what they're having an issue with. Either way, either of them are reflecting you. It's
because everything's a projection, right? Whether it's good or bad, it's always a projection.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we've talked about this in one of our other videos about that, about, you know, because I get lots of people sending me really nice emails, and I always think you must be a really happy person to be able to send that, because only a happy person will give a compliment. Only a happy person, no one's going to tell you you look beautiful unless they feel beautiful themselves, right? They just wouldn't do that. So I always know that I'm surrounded in my work with good people because they send me such nice messages. But yeah, if we don't, that was a big lesson, because if we don't, like, I get criticism on my channel, not very often, but I do get people giving nasty comments, and it used to really affect me. Now it doesn't affect me so much. But then I don't even necessarily read the good comments either. People are going to comment and I'll just leave it. I just won't even put my energy into any of it, good or bad. And I kind of took myself away from that, because we can be really sensitive as angels. So the smallest comment that's negative, especially when I first started my channel, I'd be so upset. I'd be so upset. I did a video about this recently, like a month ago. If I don't take care of myself, then that really affects me. If I'm taking care of myself, then a negative comment, you're probably the same. It just goes over my head. I just think, well, you have issues. That's not me. I'm just whatever. But if I'm really tired because I've been working too much and I've been putting other people before me, and then someone says something negative, that's just like I'm walking towards the cliff, and then that's just them pushing me over. So that's again why we have to take care of ourselves, because then people's energy doesn't affect us as much, because we have to have our energy, we have to have our strength, and we have to sleep, and we have to, you know, take care of ourselves, because otherwise it is a really difficult way, especially doing what we do. We're in it every day. We're here to help everyone. We want to do it, but you can't do it the best of your ability if you're not taking care of yourself.
Yeah, like learning to be the center of the storm and being
the
middle of it, and so that no circumstance can knock you off center. We're needed. You know, we're needed to be that anchor for that light, the lighthouse. We're meant to be the lighthouses for the world, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're, you know, and how can you be the lighthouse if you're influenced by the waves? We have to stand.
Yeah. It's kind of, I remember I think it was in the book, or was it in a book, they were saying, you know, earth angels are here to be around people because they are the light. They bring the light, and when they're around people, the people around them become the light as well. But because they struggle with the energies, they don't often like to go outside. And I was like, that's me. I'm just going to stay inside. And that was me for a really long time, because we're supposed to be out there helping people, but at the same time, if we're not strong enough yet, we're going to struggle with that, and we're going to be a bit hermit-like. But recently I've been wanting to go out more and be, like with my webinars, I get like 20-30 people in a room sometimes. So I'm around more people, but I'm strong enough to do that, and I've gained my strength. So you do definitely, in order to fulfill this angel contract, whatever you're here to do, I do feel like it takes time. We have to build strength. It's like anything, we always have to build strength and courage to be able to go out there, because I wouldn't be able to do things that I'm doing now, you know, a year ago. When I first did my first live reading, I had 50 people in the room and I was drained after half an hour. And I was like, how am I going to do that? Whereas now I get like 250 and I'm on for an hour and I'm fine. So I'm building strength. We build strength so that we can go out and be the light. You know, because we need to be around people. Because where it's like kind of like you're a beacon, and wherever you walk, it's like someone that's next to you. The light catches, and then you walk here, and the light catches, and so on. Yeah,
it's very much like that.
yeah, exactly. But if we're tired of ourselves, you're not going to want to go out, and you're not going to want to be around people. So,
well, and I also kind of wanted, we could address this as well, and on the twin flame journey, like feeling like things are going wrong. You know, oftentimes the masculine is dating a karmic, and a lot of times they are posting on social media how happy they are. And we as the feminines have to like not be swayed or influenced or let that be anything that brings us down. And in fact, we could look at the karmic as the one who's training them.
Yeah.
Whether we're going to be with them or not, they're still training them for the next person, because these karmic people that they're with, they're not going to last. They don't last because they are lessons. I mean, they can last for a while, but definitely, like, once you're a twin flame and you know that you have a partner, it's really tough for them to, I mean, unless you found a soulmate. But the divine masculines, they're still a bit in their egos, so they're not finding a soulmate or some kind of healthy alternative. They're finding a karmic that will teach them lessons, teach them not to base everything on looks, and not to base everything on money, and not to base everything on material securities and safeties and location and all of that. It's like they have to get to a point where they live free, and they can change, and they can stand up for themselves and have healthy boundaries with people as well. And they have to get to this point where they just are completely independent of any ideas also that will hook and grab them and allow them to be manipulated and sucked in by people with strong opinions, like their families and things. So we go through it first, and then they follow suit. They see how it's done. And in that way, the feminine is the leader at first. But when they catch up, it's like, you know, it's quite a sight to be seen. But in the meantime, appreciate the karmic. I mean, in whether, you know, if you're looking at it in the sense that you guys will be together, because some people do want to be with their twin flame, but if you're looking at it from that instance, then it's like, it's so beautiful to see. I talked to somebody yesterday who said, oh, you know, my partner, my masculine is, you know, with a karmic and all this stuff. And I just said, well, you know, thank the karmic. Be super grateful for the karmic, because they're learning some huge lessons in order to be ready for you, you know. And then she said, well, actually, you know, this masculine had like this major issue. And I said, okay, well, let me take a look at it. And I felt into it intuitively, and I put down some cards, and I went, issue remedied. Issue remedied. And she was like, what? Really? And I said, thank the karmic. Thank the karmic. It had been like the masculine had been completely transformed on that major issue that was between. And don't they always come together stronger and more powerful than ever before every time?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a karmic or like the karma of life, whatever it is, when you guys separate away from each other, you grow up a lot and come back together more mature, more solid, more confident.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've seen a lot of things like that in my own life, like not necessarily in my situation, but I've seen friends and I've seen other people, and I can see that that person's just a lesson somewhere along the line, and I can see that person growing. And I remember seeing, I won't say who it was, but I can remember seeing someone, she was like, I thought to myself, you really need to there was a few things that she'd do, and I think, wow, that really doesn't serve you. You really need to figure out a way to stop that, because that's hurting you and it's hurting everyone around you, and it's pushing people away. And she met someone and was with them for a little bit of time, and I started to notice that she stopped doing that, and I was like, and she noticed it, and I was like, okay, this person's in her life just for a short amount of time, but she's starting to learn this lesson, and she's not like that anymore, and she's such a better person now. And I remember seeing that and just thinking, yeah, karmics are really, there's a contract between them that says, you're going to teach me this and I'm going to teach you that. And although you look at it in the 3D and it's painful, I imagine, I've only not really had much experience in it, but I've had my own share in my journey of that kind of thing. It is really painful, but there's such an amazing lesson. And the universe is going to carry those two people, and it's going to carry them until the lesson's learned, and then they go their separate ways. They always do, because it's just for a short space of time, right? While the lessons are being learned. And those are things that the masculine's going to need to learn in order to be with the twin flame.
Well, you know what's hilarious is if these karmics came with like a little sign, I'm a karmic, then they would be terrified. They'd be the ones that were running from them. They'd be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. If they have to, right, you would avoid it.
They're disguised beautifully, aren't they? They just come in like, I am the key to your world.
Yeah. They always that way. They're always very intoxicating, like very beautiful, intoxicating people. But I mean, the energy's never going to be the same, right? The energy's never going to be the same, but they have to be like that. They have to be enticing, because they have to go towards that person and learn that lesson for whatever it is.
Exactly.
And you know, they're not learning it with you. Thank God, they can learn it with someone else. It gives you a year off. It gives you a break. You know, if you look at it like that.
Yeah.
And the things that these like feminines want their masculines to be like, and it's like, well, he's learning it through that person. So just be, you know, let it happen.
Well, and you know what the poor karmic's torture is whenever the masculine stares out the window and daydreams, he's thinking of the feminine. That's what they have to deal with and what they have to live with. And they know it, and they feel insecure. And they're looking at their guy, and their guy's looking out the window, and he's just, you know, wishing he could be with this woman he doesn't feel good enough to be with yet. And she has to just watch that all the time and know that there's, even if he's not telling her, there's this other woman that he's met that's so incredible, that's really inspired in his life, you know. She's still like, I just know that I'm not it.
Yeah, I think the best example of that, if from a movie, is going to be The Notebook. Have you seen The Notebook?
Yeah, a while ago. It's been a while.
Okay, because Noah starts, after he's with Ali, he starts, because they separate for a couple of years, 5 years actually, and he starts just kind of sleeping with someone. It's nothing more than that. But she always knew, like, he wouldn't talk about it, but she knew that it was just sex, and she knew that his heart belonged to someone else. And there's a scene with her in bed, and she asks him, I think she asked him to go away for the weekend, we'll go and do something. And he's like, no. And she's like, you're never going to have him. You're never going to have his heart. And then when Ali actually shows up, she's like, oh yeah, it's always been you. You know, and there was not even any hard feelings, because it's like, you know, that your heart is somewhere else. So
we've been the karmic.
Mm-hmm.
Karmic. We know how that feels. I mean, we had to go through that too.
Yeah, I've known.
We've both been in that masculine role, and we've both chased after the shiny, pretty.
Yeah.
And we've gotten burned pretty bad, and we've gotten, you know, we've had that, all of it happen to us. That's why we got where we got, and that's why we're now in the feminine role.
Yeah.
Because we've learned those lessons.
Yeah. And it's
and we're fine being okay. I mean, wait, let me just, because this just jumped into, like, here's the thing about earth angels too, is when they get to this part where they're the divine feminine, wow, because so many of us will stay single for so long and not need to have sex and not be out there trying to boost our self-esteem. And we're going, let's Odin, he's one in here. So it's like, you know, some of these girls, they come to me and they're just like, you know, I feel rejected or whatever because I've been alone so long. And it's like, no, no, no. You're standing in your power. You don't need it. You're not like the masculine anymore. You're not needing to run after things in order to feel better about yourself.
Yeah, because you already know.
Okay, he
It's
went.
already here.
Normally, I'd get up and go let him in, but under the circumstances, I don't think that would be wise. You might see something.
Oh my God.
He's like, why isn't she letting me in?
There's a reason. There's always a reason.
You know, the feminines then, when they get in that spot, they're like on reserve.
Yeah.
They're on reserve
Yeah.
for that special person, you know.
Yeah, because once you've hit that feminine and once you've hit that power, you will only, once you start exploring like sexuality and exploring being intimate with someone, it's going to have to be very heart opening, right? Like I couldn't sleep with someone that hasn't got an open heart. It's like, because what's the point? So
Yeah,
we only put ourselves into situations where we feel like there's a connection.
exactly. We're not settling for that anymore. I mean, just the thought of having the kind of sex I used to have anymore,
Oh
it's,
yeah.
oh gosh, it's such a turn off. It's just like, get that away, get that out of my
I
face.
don't think
Like,
I don't
oh,
think I could feel that. No.
like, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just like, no, 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 no. There needs to be a connection, a big connection. And then the sex is going to be way off the charts, way better than it ever was before.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I'm waiting. you know, not just throwing it out there. We're not just throwing it out there. So it makes it that much more valuable, that much more intense, that much more deep, that, you know, in every way.
Yeah.
It means that much more. So so if you've been single a while, that's a good thing. You know, you're on
Yeah.
there's no
You're onto something better. Onto something bigger and better.
yeah.
Well, we should. Is there anything else that you wanted to say?
No, I don't think so.
As you introduce the video, I will let you close off the video.
Well, all right. Thank you so much for watching this with us. And if there's anything else you want us to explore in one of these videos, the Naked Truth series, then go ahead and put some comments below. We'd be happy to take a look at that with you and for you. You can find each of us on Instagram. Maybe we'll put that in the description below the video. I've got my podcast every Sunday, 5:30 Pacific, 6:30 Mountain Time. That would be 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. And the number is 256-291-1191. And yeah, so have yourselves an awesome day. Thank you again, and we'll catch you next time. Bye. If I would have gotten up to go get Odin, it would have been, I just realized I just totally blend into the background.
You do. You're all pink.